Wow, it's honestly pretty wild that we haven't dived deep into this sooner. But the San Francisco 49ers just got some really incredible news in the last few days. And I came across another report today that only adds to the excitement around this team's outlook for the upcoming season. The 49ers are quietly sitting in a fantastic spot right now, especially when it comes to their wide receiver group. And I want to break down exactly why that's such a big deal. Let's start by addressing the elephant in the room, Deebo Samuel. Many fans and analysts saw him as the biggest loss of the offseason for the 49ers. And at first glance, that seemed totally fair. He was such a dynamic playmaker with a great history in San Francisco and had done some really memorable things in red and gold. But the reality is, last season he didn't quite play up to that level we expected, especially on the ground and in the air. Despite that, the 49ers wide receiver core has somehow been ranked in the top 5 across the entire league. Going into this season, that ranking caught a lot of people off guard, including me. So let's unpack why this makes sense. Last year, the wide receiver group had its struggles. Brandon Aiyuk and Deebo Samuel both had down years compared to their previous form, and that led many to feel a bit uneasy about the passing game. Jauan Jennings, on the other hand, had a really solid season and probably should have broken the 1,000-yard mark. But even he struggles to create consistent separation from defenders. That lack of separation was a real issue for the 49ers last season. When receivers can't get open consistently, it limits what the quarterback can do and forces the offense to be more predictable. But here's a twist. George Kittle, arguably the most valuable offensive weapon for the 49ers last year, isn't even a wide receiver. He's a tight end with a unique role, blending receiving with blocking and other responsibilities. So when evaluating the wide receiver cores, it's important to remember that Kittle's impact doesn't necessarily fit neatly into the traditional wide receiver category, even though he's crucial to the passing attack. Another major factor that impacted the wide receiver production last season was Christian McCaffrey's limited availability and performance. Without a fully healthy McCaffrey, who's one of the best pass-catching running backs in the league, the 49ers offense lost a significant threat that helped keep defenses honest. When a team has a running back who can catch passes effectively, it forces defenses to cover more of the field, opening up opportunities for wide receivers. But with McCaffrey hobbled by injuries, opposing defenses could focus more on shutting down the wide receivers, making life harder for guys like Jennings and Aiyuk. Even J.P. Mason, who stepped in to carry some of the load on the ground, wasn't much of a receiving threat, which made it easier for defenses to key in on the 49ers passing game. Defenses basically dared the 49ers to beat them on the ground, knowing they could allocate more resources to their secondary. That made the job of getting open and making plays through the air even tougher. Then, with Deebo Samuel gone and no veteran replacement coming in to fill his exact role, the 49ers seem committed to relying on their young receivers to step up. Kyle Shanahan's offensive schemes are versatile and creative, but they still need playmakers who can create separation and make big plays downfield. The question then becomes, can these younger receivers grow into that role quickly enough? And on top of that, there's still some uncertainty about when Brandon Aiyuk will be fully back after recovering from those serious knee injuries. Some projections have him potentially starting the season on the physically unable to perform list, possibly returning around mid-season, but no one really knows for sure. Despite all of this, recent rankings have still placed the 49ers receiving core surprisingly high. One report that came out just recently had them ranked 5th in the league. That's pretty remarkable when you consider the losses and injuries the team has dealt with. The offseason moves included trading Deebo Samuel to the Washington Commanders in exchange for a 5th-round pick, signing Demarcus Robinson, and losing some depth with Eric Saubert heading to Seattle and Chris Conley retiring. Robinson's signing was a smart addition, bringing veteran savvy and reliable hands to the group. Even if he's not a flashy superstar, it's important to remember just how impactful Deebo Samuel was during his time with the 49ers. Over the last 6 years, he amassed nearly 5,000 yards receiving, 22 touchdowns, and also rushed for over 1,000 yards and another 20 touchdowns. That's an incredible workload and production level, and it highlights how special of a player he was. Even last year, he maintained an impressive average of over 5.5 yards per attempt, which speaks to his consistent ability to gain yards after the catch. So, when analysts like Trevor Siekema from Pro Football Focus ranked the 49ers wide receiver group in the top 5, it's not just a random guess. Despite the losses, the core talent remains strong, especially when you factor in players like George Kittle, Jawin Jennings, and Ricky Pearsall, who are expected to have important roles this year. And if you add in Christian McCaffrey returning to a healthier state, the offense has some serious weapons to work with. Yes, there are teams ranked just above the 49ers who also have compelling cases, like the Detroit Lions, Cincinnati Bengals, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Philadelphia Eagles. Some people debate whether Tampa Bay should be that high, but the point remains that the 49ers are being recognized among elite company. On the flip side, there are teams ranked just behind them that could surprise as well. Minnesota Vikings, Miami Dolphins, Los Angeles Rams, Chicago Bears, and Houston Texans all have young talent that could elevate their offenses. What's interesting is that when you look at those teams ranked 6 through 10, it's not shocking to see the 49ers ahead of them. None of those groups scream dominance in the passing game over San Francisco, especially given the variety of threats the 49ers possess. The different skill sets across their receivers, tight ends, and running backs make for a balanced and dangerous attack when healthy. And speaking of balance, ESPN analyst MICAH recently ranked the 49ers offense as the 8th best in the league heading into the new season. That's despite a disappointing finish last year, where injuries plagued the team. San Francisco was the most injured team in the league, but still managed to finish in the top 10 in several advanced metrics like DVOA, EPA, and success rate. They were also third in the percentage of plays that gained more than 10 yards, which is a testament to the explosiveness of their offense. George Kittle continues to be a massive part of that explosiveness. Last season, he led all pass catchers in yards per target and had over a quarter of his catches go for 20 or more yards. That kind of production is rare for any tight end and puts him in elite company alongside players like Trey McBride, who is the only other tight end with similar numbers. Kittle's ability to stretch the field vertically and make big plays remains one of the key reasons the 49ers offense is so dangerous. If you consider a healthy Christian McCaffrey returning alongside George Kittle, Jawin Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, and a hopefully recovered Brandon Aiyuk, the potential for this offense is enormous. The assumption is that Aiyuk would have continued to improve last year if not for injury and rust, meaning his return could be a significant boost. Younger players like Jacob Cowing could also see increased opportunities, adding fresh legs and energy to the group. All of this paints a picture of an offense that, while it may have looked shaky due to injuries and personnel changes last year, is poised for a rebound. If they manage to stay healthy and put it all together, the 49ers could easily finish as a top 8 offense again, maybe even better. The countdown to training camp is on, with rookies set to report in just a few weeks and the entire team not far behind. That means the stage is almost set for all these players to get back on the field and prove why the 49ers receiving corps deserves all this hype and high ranking. It's an exciting time for fans and analysts alike, watching how the pieces will fall into place and what this talented group can achieve in the season ahead. Building on the excitement and optimism surrounding the 49ers offense, it's crucial to understand the nuances that could make or break their success this coming season. The wide receiver core, despite losing a superstar like Deebo Samuel, is anchored by a group of players with diverse skill sets and promising potential. This diversity and talent creates a multi-dimensional offense that can attack defenses from various angles, making it much harder to predict and defend against. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers, and don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL landscape is rife with speculation, but a recent whisper circulating in league circles has sent shockwaves through Dallas and beyond. Could MICAH Parsons, the Cowboys' defensive cornerstone and arguably one of the most dominant players in the league, be considering a move that would be nothing short of a betrayal in the eyes of the Cowboys faithful? The murmurs suggest a truly stunning possibility: Parsons to the San Francisco 49ers. While nothing has been confirmed, the sheer audacity of the rumor has fueled intense debate. Parsons, known for his relentless pass rush and game-wrecking ability, has been the heart and soul of the Cowboys' defense since his arrival. The thought of him donning the red and gold of a bitter NFC rival like the 49ers is almost unfathomable for many. Sources close to the situation, who wish to remain anonymous, indicate that internal frustrations within the Cowboys organization might be a contributing factor. The nature of these frustrations remains vague, but it's enough to spark talk of a potential departure for a player who seemed destined to be a Cowboy for life. The 49ers, perpetually in contention and boasting a formidable defensive unit themselves, would become an almost unstoppable force with Parsons in the mix. Imagine a front seven featuring Parsons alongside the likes of Nick Bosa, a terrifying prospect for opposing offenses. Such a move would undoubtedly shift the balance of power in the NFC dramatically, of course. This is all just chatter for now. The logistics of such a trade would be immensely complex, involving significant cap implications and draft capital. But in the unpredictable world of the NFL, where never say never is often the only constant, the possibility, however remote, is enough to keep fans on the edge of their seats. Is this just a wild rumor, or is there genuine fire behind the smoke of Parsons potentially leaving Dallas for the Bay Area? Only time will tell, but the mere suggestion has already ignited a firestorm. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone In. Give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.